Hello and welcome to this video series of creating this isometric castle in Pixelart. The idea came from watching just other artists work, and I missed doing an isometric piece, so I thought of doing this sort of overrun castle that's now turned into some sort of fortress, like a makeshift fortress for a war or some sort of thing. So the grid, the isometric grid is laying, and right now it's mainly being used to guide my lines rather than anything else. So I do this sketch, and you can see it's a really rough sketch. And here's the thing, working for the palette, what I'm trying to get here is a balance between light and dark and see how those colors sort of affect my drawing. In this case, obviously, I went for the complementary color for the green. I turned that into a multiply layer. Now I'm creating a layer with just the local colors, no lighting, just the colors of the materials as they would be in sort of like an overcast day. Well, not overcast because the water is blue, reflecting the sky, but you see what I mean. Now this is layer right now is the one with the light. It's the direct light from the sun. We're looking at a sort of like 5 o'clock or 4:30 in the afternoon, something like that. So what I'm balancing out right now is how the layers are going to affect the colors underneath, because the light is going to be in an overlay and the shadow is a multiply. The black masses here that I'm painting, these are going to be the ambient occlusion. These are the really dark bits of the drawing that don't even get light from the bounce light. Now I'm starting to work on the line art, and early on I decided not only did I want to have an outline, I wanted to have a colored outline that would be sort of selective, not selective in the sense of like the sellout technique, the selective outlining technique, but selective in where do I put an outline. I don't want to outline on everything. I want to make sure that it's used to create layering, to sort of create separation between elements of the drawing that I think should be made clear that are at different levels. So this is a lot of the line work is really just going in, picking from the drawing underneath and trying to draw in a way that it's cleaner, but also fits a lot better with the isometric grid, which is underground or underneath, sorry. The point of the isometric grid as well is that I can draw on it and then select the pixels that I just drew and move them over to my sketch. That way I make sure that I have a really clear isometric line that really fits the perspective. So here you can see me coloring the outline in a brighter tone for the edges that are facing the light source, the direct light source. And this is kind of a way to simulate that light or that surface is really being lit and has sort of a reflection, so to speak, from the original direct light source. So when light hits a rounded surface, there's usually a point where it's going to bounce back. I mean, there's always a point in a rounded surface where the light's going to bounce back to the viewer. And that's what I try to do with those highlights on the outline, because now they're in an outline, but they're also communicating value and they're communicating lighting. Okay, so that's a 2-for-1, so to speak. I do get a crispier look on my sprites because I'm outlining them, but I also get light information on them as well. Some parts of the sketch, of the initial sketch, didn't really solve the overall architecture all that well. So there's some work to be done as well during the cleanup phase, and we're just cleaning up the line work. And now we have to clean up the shapes that we used for the local color, and I'm also going to do the same for the light and dark. And that's the bit that sort of, those are the time-consuming tasks that are not entertaining. There are tasks that are entertaining, let's say like in the end going on and adding small details and vegetation stuff, and that's kind of cool because you get to go through your drawing, you get to go through your piece again with a different look, a different outlook. You're going, right, this here that I did was a mistake, this was nice, this was good, this is something I want to do again later because it was helpful for, as I was drawing the piece. So that's why I don't really like to spend too much time on an image on one step, so to speak. I don't want to spend loads of time doing a color sketch. I don't want to spend loads of time doing rendering. I want to spend some time on all the techniques so that I have a good read of what I did. I mean, if you're not going to self-evaluate, you're going to take a little longer to sort of improve your techniques, because you're not analyzing what's happening, what are you doing that's ruining your techniques or not. Also, at this point, the drawing has started to get to sort of clean up, to tight. And my battle is mostly how am I going to break all of these surfaces, because right now it looks like it's something made of clay. So you can see me doing there on the tower is that I'm trying to use the shading as a way to create texture. Also on the grass here, I know that the grass can be completely flat. I mean, there's absolutely no problem in having a really flat piece of grass, but it really pulls away from what I have on the castle, which is going to be a really intricate piece of architecture. If I make the grass really flat, it's just going to clash with it, so to speak, in a way. Now, there's a lot of issues right now with the outlines there on the cliffs before the grass turns into river. And I think at that time I just didn't want to deal with them. I just didn't want to have to think about what I just painted there. Because again, I know that this is a very sketchy bit. As I do that highlight, I kind of go, okay, I think that solves it, because that does two things again. It does shows the lighting, but it doesn't create an edge. What it creates is a transition from grass to dry grass to dirt and then to the cliff. So that's something that I'll play with a bit more in the future. I'm adding more and more ambient occlusion because it feels to me that it's a good thing to carve detail in. Of course, I can't really go crazy on the colors, and even though I did, I really didn't really care much about the color count. I just wanted to make things interesting and intricate in the shortest period of time. So this is what I ended up with in the end. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.